Well, welcome to lesson 194 of A Course in Miracles, reading from the White Edition, Book B, which is the workbook, Book A, of course, being the text. I place the future in the hands of God. Today's idea takes another step toward quick salvation, and a giant stride it is indeed. So great the distance is that it encompasses, it sets you down just short of heaven with the goal in sight and obstacles behind. Your foot has reached the lawns that welcome you to heaven's gate, the quiet place of peace where you await with certainty the final step of God. How far are we progressing now from earth? How close are we approaching to our goal? How short the journey still to be pursued? Accept today's idea and you have passed all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, thoughts of sin and devastation brought about by guilt. Accept today's idea and you have released the world from all imprisonment by loosening the heavy chains that lock the door to freedom on it. You are saved, and your salvation thus becomes the gift you give the world because you have received. In no one instant is depression felt or pain experienced or loss perceived. In no one instant can sorrow be set upon a throne and worshipped faithfully. In no one instant can one even die. And so each instant given unto God in passing with the next one given him already is a time of your release from sadness, pain, and even death itself. That's really cool. I had an experience, just a little aside here, I had an experience earlier today of a brother coming to me very concerned and upset about the passing of someone. And I just had to sit in my certainty that no one dies, there is no such thing as death, and at the same time allow for that transition in thought to occur from the certainty of my mind through the realization of my brother, because the healing is always shared, and I understand why it is that people come to me and why people say seek my counsel or whatever, but the idea that we are one, that we are connected, is something that until you put it into practice, until you choose to refuse to buy into the drama of death, refuse to buy into the stories, and to stand simply as witness to the truth, you won't see how far you've come. And in this lesson, where it's talking about how far we've come from that old idea of death, where we no longer see anyone that dies, that's a true thing. And it's a true thing in me, and I'm extending the certainty of my realization of that to you through the expression of the pathway, the expression of the teaching of the way, I guess, to achieve that transition in consciousness through the reinterpretation of our thought system, the reinterpretation of our defense systems, which we're using the principles of this course to do. So anyway, I keep reading. God holds your future as he holds your past and present. They are one to him, and so they should be one to you. Yet in this world, the temporal progression still seems real. And so you are not asked to understand the lack of sequence really found in time. You are but asked to let the future go and place it in God's hands. And you will see by your experience that you have laid the past and present in his hands as well, because the past will punish you no more, and future dread will now be meaningless. Release the future, for the past is gone, and what is present, freed from its bequest of grief and misery, of pain and loss, becomes the instant in which time escapes the bondage of illusions, where it runs its pitiless, inevitable course. Then is each instant which was slave to time transformed into a holy instant, when the light that was kept hidden in God's Son is freed to bless the world. Now is he free, and all his glory shines upon a world made free with him to share his holiness. If you can see, ready? If you can see the lesson for today as the deliverance it really is, you will not hesitate to give as much consistent effort as you can to make it be a part of you. As it becomes a thought which rules your mind, a habit in your problem-solving repertoire, a way of quick reaction to temptation, you extend your learning to the world. And as you learn to see salvation in all things, so will the world perceive that it is saved. What worry can beset the one who gives his future to the loving hands of God? What can he suffer? What can cause him pain or bring experience of loss to him? What can he fear? And what can he regard except with love? For he who has escaped all fear of future pain has found his way to present peace and certainty of care the world can never threaten. He is sure that his perception may be faulty, but will never lack correction. Ready? I'll read that again. He is sure that his perception may be faulty. You can guarantee it's going to be faulty. Perception's always faulty. But will never lack correction. Right? He is free to choose again when he has been deceived, to change his mind when he has made mistakes. He is free to choose again when he has been deceived, to change his mind when he has made mistakes. Place then your future in the hands of God, for thus you call the memory of him to come again, replacing all your thoughts of sin and evil with the truth of love. Think you the world could fail to gain thereby, and every living creature not respond with healed perception? Who entrusts himself to God has also placed the world within the hands to which he has himself appealed for comfort and security. He lays aside the sick illusions of the world along with his, and offers peace to both. Now are we saved indeed. For in God's hands we rest untroubled, sure that only good can come to us. If we forget, we will be gently reassured. If we accept an unforgiving thought, it will be soon replaced by love's reflection. And if we are tempted to attack, we will appeal to him who guards our rest to make the choice for us that leaves temptation far behind. No longer is the world our enemy, for we have chosen that we be its friends. And I like that bit. Who entrusts himself to God has also placed the world within the hands to which he has himself appealed for comfort and security. And there's a very simple teaching of that I used to like years ago. Imagine a river, and it flows one particular way to the sea, obviously. The river flows to the sea, and your whole life you've believed that you have to go against the river to get to the source of the water, and that the source of the water is that way, and it's difficult, and you're always against the current and the tide, and it washes you back, and you try again. And eventually you realise, well, look, I don't know. Everyone else seems to be telling me this. I'm just going to turn around, which is the meaning of the word repent, means to turn around. I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to allow the river to carry me to the ocean, right, where all the rivers merge into one. And that's essentially all we're doing. We're returning our mind to the flow of the universe. We're returning our consciousness, our part of the mind that believes that it is more beneficent or has more beneficence in separation than in unity. And we're turning that part of our mind over to God to be shown, to be guided, to be corrected. And every time that we make the choice to do that, right, recognizing all of a sudden we've picked up our old way of thinking. It's like, whoop, wait a minute. I don't want that old selfish way. I want a selfless way. I'm going to jump in the river again and let it carry me. And of course, there's going to be things along the bank, flowers and people, and you're going to want to go over and wave. And it's like, no, stay in the flow, stay in the river. Just let it carry you. You've been here thousands of years, thousands of lifetimes. It's time to go on with the journey of the soul now, to move on from reincarnation, to reach our enlightenment and find our place again in the journey of the soul onward to nirvana. All right, I love you. See you tomorrow.